Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Okay, this is the video that I look forward to doing like all year round when I get to like sit here and say, I played this game, and this game this year, and I thought it was pretty good, and have everybody disagree with me. So yeah, join. Top 10 games of 2018, and I've decided to go all like Game Awards on you and completely disregard anything that comes out in the month of December, okay? With that said, there are a couple of games that I am going to get in December. There's, what is it? The new Wonder Boy game? Or Monster... Is it Monster Boy? I don't know. Wonder Boy is confusing. That's coming out. I'm getting a copy of that. And the Persona dancing games, I still have those pre-ordered. I don't know. I'm not massively... I should cancel that I don't know, but I guess I'm getting those. And there's another one, a fairly big one, coming out next week, end of the week. Lots of video game characters fighting each other. That will probably be my game of the year, I'm just going to say that, okay? I'll definitely talk about it when it comes out, but for now, here are the games that came out in 2018, January to November, which is the only spot that counts, apparently. And before any of you say, I have Red Dead. I've just not played it yet. So, yeah. Let's get started, shall we? Now, number 10. Okay. This is... Okay. Do you remember how last year I actually made a top 15 games of 2017? Okay, that was pretty much because 2017 was just this amazing year for games, you know, just so much quality stuff came out. 2018 overall is a little bit weaker. Still really good, I think, but definitely weaker. And the fact that this is number 10 kind of shows that. Shining Resonance Refrain. I talked about this game a lot when it was like coming out, and I kept saying it was a fairly good game, you know. At the most I would give it like a 7 out of 10, you know, it's a decent time had. Its biggest issue, seriously, its biggest issue was releasing in a year that had so many other excellent RPGs, okay? I can't say that enough, right? But taken on its own, it is a pretty decent RPG, you know? So I'm going to put it here at number 10. I don't like massively recommend it. There are some RPGs also on the list that are higher. I definitely put those over this. But overall, yeah, it was nice to see the Shining games come back. That's definitely a thing, despite the fact that it was brought back in a way that we might not have been that fussed about. But whatever. By the way, I should actually mention, first of all, I'm not including like re-releases. That's actually technically a re-release now that I think about it, but fuck it, okay. Basically, no Shenmue 1 and 2 HD, that's still my favourite game, but that's not going to be on this list, and no Sonic Mania Plus, which really irks me because Sonic Mania Plus, I feel like I fell in love with the game, like, all over again with that physical package. I don't know, something about, like, the new content that they put in there actually put my opinion of the game up even higher, you know, so it would definitely be like my top 5 games played this year, if I'm honest, but I'm not going to put it here, we're just going to stick with originals. So, yeah. Number 9, we have Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, which actually, again, is technically a re-release. Fuck, I'm such a hypocrite. But yeah, this was a remake of a DS game that was a cursed game for me because I never really got around to properly playing it. But when I heard this was coming out, it's like, okay, this is the time. I need to play this. Because I always really admired the concept of this game. You play as a character who can literally like go through time based on like different timelines. He can go back to any point he wants to like level grind and stuff, which is kind of a time paradox. How can you have that experience at this point in time, as well as all your other party members? But whatever, it was a really fun RPG from Atlas, and yeah, I dug it. 3DS just won't die, will it? It just will not die. Keep going, as far as I'm concerned. Right, number 8, we have Mega Man 11. This was like, almost sort of an impulse buy for me. I do like Mega Man, you know, I dabble in the games every now and then. Obviously in recent years we've kind of been having a drought of Mega Man. But it was really cool for Capcom to finally say, okay, fuck it. Mighty Number 9 did really bad. I think we can, like, capitalise on this and bring back Mega Man in a quality way. And in a quality way they did. Okay, it's just really fun, classic gameplay. They do absolutely, like, nothing Massive to push the series, you know. It's got like a double gear system. That's fun, you know, slowing down time, make yourself more powerful. I used it. But overall, yeah, it's just another Mega Man game, I would say, but that's okay. Okay, Mega Man 11, number 8. Right, number 7. Spider-Man! I'm doing this again. My copy of Spider-Man is currently with a friend, okay? He never gives me my games back. I finally got Yakuza Kiwami 2 back, but yeah. Spider-Man, just pretend it's the PS4 version. Really, like, what I'll say about this is, like, this was the first Insomniac game to come out in a really long time that I, like, genuinely gave a shit about. Even though it was based on, like, Spider-Man, you know, a friggin' comic book IP sort of thing. It really was just, like, a joy to play through. I loved the New York setting. Web swinging was really fun. It was just a really, really good open world game, and it's unlike something I've ever seen Insomniac really do, you know? Honestly, I think the last game they did that I really liked was A Crack in Time 10 years ago, you know? I'm not fussed about the remake of Ratchet & Clank that we got. Didn't play Sunset Overdrive, definitely didn't play Fuse. So that's it. Did they not make other stuff? I don't remember, but yeah, Spider-Man, really, really well made game, okay? It was an absolute joy to play. Don't know if they're going to make a sequel or whatever. I haven't really been touching the DLC. The DLC's been getting like sort of mixed reception, I'm finding. But the full game was a blast, so yeah. Spider-Man is at number 7. Number 6, we have Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. This was the Fist of the North Star game based off the anime. Another licensed game, actually. Which was made by the Ryoga Gotoku team, so it basically plays just like Yakuza. And when this got announced, you know, I was like quite keen for it to get announced, because I thought the game looked really good. But I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna play through it, appreciate the Yakuza-ness, and that's it. But I really got into this, okay? It's like, yeah, it does play an awful lot like Yakuza, but it has like its own individual like quirks, which I don't know a thing about the anime, by the way, so take that for what you will. But I really enjoyed like the open like sandbox thing that you could explore with the buggy. The combat system, even though again is heavily based on Yakuza, has its own like unique twists with its own specific QTEs and like hitting pressure points. And yeah, just Kenshiro as a character, even though he is in a lot of ways just basically Kazuma, he was a lot of fun to me as well as the other cast. I would say it is probably a bit on the weaker side when it comes to overall Yakuza, but it's still really strong, okay? I still dug it a lot, right? And I love this cover art, it's like the reversible thing that we got, so yeah. Highly recommend this if you're into Yakuza. You've probably already played it, you know, and if you haven't, you really should. But yeah, Fist of the North Star, Lost Paradise, number 6. So, top 5, shall we? Okay, now this one really surprised me actually. I did not think I would be putting this game this high on this list at all, okay? God of War. I don't actually own God of War on PS4, and I don't own it on PS2 either, so I had to pull out this HD collection. But yeah, I don't currently have my copy, okay? So, pretend it's the PS4 God of War, okay? I was very much on the bandwagon of when they first showed off that God of War game. I was like, oh look, God of The Last of Us. You know, it's just like I was very much that person who did not like the new direction and just like openly mocked it. But Santa Monica, you must have like been under so much stress hearing all that, and I've seen like interviews where you talk about the process of making this game, and holy shit, you guys deserve every bit of credit and every like positive review that game got as far as I'm concerned. It's funny because when it came out, it actually became a very divisive thing, I suppose, because there were people that were just like blindly disliking it because it was like either new or because it was like a really popular release. And then of course there were people that were praising it, but they gave off the impression that they were just liking it because it was such a high profile Sony release. So I played it. Did not expect to get into it as much as I did. It was really, really good. Do you know what it is? It is basically like 3D Zelda before Breath of the Wild. You know, those like sort of like you basically have a Hyrule field, which is the lake, and as the game goes on, it opens up more to explore and stuff with a linear story, and you just go through, I guess, sort of dungeons as well as like mini dungeons, and it's all really, really fun. You know, and it saddens me because we're never going to get like a Zelda game like this anymore, because your average Zelda fan is going to look at this and be like, it's so linear, like you're going in a straight line, oh my god! Why does that annoy me so much? When people, like, I just imagine people's reaction to like older 3D Zeldas and they just call it linear, and I'm just like, I didn't mean for this to turn into a rant about Zelda. God of War is really good. Number 5, my game of the year. Alright. And number 4, we have Valkyria Chronicles 4. Pretty much these next bunch are all like RPGs and whatnot. Okay, so Valkyria Chronicles 4, this was like a really important game for me coming out this year, because it was like almost the best example of Sega's like change in mindset almost, because they brought back an older IP, not that old, but you know, we haven't seen a release in a while. Valkyria Revolution doesn't count, fuck that game. And it came out and it had really good reviews, and a lot of people really liked it, myself included, and it's just like, it just represents the state that Sega is in right now. You all know I'm quite a Sega, I don't want to say synthesizer, that sounds bit too much, but I basically want to see them do well, that's what I'll say, and this kind of like shows that immensely to me. Funnily enough, I loved this game, I really did. I still prefer the first one, never played 2 or 3 or Revolution, so this is really Valkyria Chronicles 2, honestly. Okay? And even if you haven't played the first one, don't feel bad about going into this, because you don't need to know anything about the first one. I would recommend playing the first one first. There's a lot of easy ways to play it now. It's on PS4, PC, Switch now. But you can jump into this as well, should you want to. Okay. I will say, this actually probably would have been a lot higher on the list if the story wasn't so utterly anime, okay? I've moaned about this a lot to like people in person and on like stream and stuff, but yeah, it's like there's so much anime in this game. They go a bit too far, I feel, compared to like the first game, okay? But when all's said and done, I can at least shove that aside and just enjoy the wonderful strategy-based gameplay. So yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 4, number 4. And number 3 we have, number 3 we have Dragon Quest 11. Another 11 came out the day, this year rather, bleh. And yeah, I've been following this game for years, you know. I remember when it was like first showed off, and it was technically, you guys remember when this was technically the very first Nintendo Switch game to be announced, back when it was like called the NX, you know. They announced Dragon Quest 11, and it's coming out to 3DS, PS4, and Nintendo NX, and everybody commented about this game because it was like the first game to be on the NX. I'll always remember that. But yeah, I love the Dragon Quest games. They are the absolute most traditional you can get when it comes to RPGs, but they all have like a certain charm that just does not get matched, alright? And the same just holds true for this. There really isn't too much I can say about it. It is another Dragon Quest game. Just like Mega Man, actually. Mega Man 11 is just another Mega Man game. This is just another Dragon Quest game. It's just done extremely well, and I enjoyed it immensely. I really need to get back to this, actually, because there's some post-game stuff which has like other story and stuff, and I kind of just turned it off because I was playing this. There was definitely a time this year where I was just going from like game to game to game and couldn't really like take as much of a bite as I wanted to, and this is probably the biggest like example of that. I really do want to get back to it. I don't know, maybe I'll double dip on the PC at some point, but whatever. Dragon Quest 11, absolutely adored it. However, it was not my favourite RPG this year, and I'm surprised that I'm putting this at number 2, because I liked it, I really liked it, but I didn't think I liked it this much. But, yeah, Octopath Traveler. I remember this actually, you know, I was talking about Shining Resonance Refrain earlier. This came out on the exact same day as that, and that's what I think hurt that game the most, because a lot of people were excited for this one, with its like gorgeous art style and its like old school turn-based battle system, which, you know, there's clearly like an audience for, because this game did really well. But yeah, the 8 travelers in this game, you know, Ophelia, Cyrus, let me see if I can remember them all. Ophelia, Cyrus, Tressa, Oberic, Primrose, Alphen, Therion, and Hannet. The first letter of their name spells Octopath, and I was just looking on the back there, sorry. I loved, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, I loved each of them, like, equally. Like, any one of them could have been, like, the main character. I went for, like, Ophelia, because when it comes to turn-based RPGs, I'm usually real paranoid about healing, so, and Ophelia is a cleric, she heals, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go with Ophelia. And I just got so into this. I put like 90-something hours into it. I think Dragon Quest, I put like, it was like closer to 70 hours I put into Dragon Quest. Which, funnily enough, was actually one of the shorter Dragon Quest games in that regard. But yeah, this one I put a lot more time into. I actually took like a big break too, because I got to like Ophelia's Chapter 4 and really struggled to like beat it. But I think whoever you choose as your main character, I think that their 4th chapter becomes like a lot more difficult. Like, that's actually the one you're supposed to save for last. And just like Dragon Quest XI, this has some like post-game stuff that you can do. From what I hear, it's not like too worth it. It kind of just like involves the overarching plot, which really isn't too important. And it has you going through a dungeon that has repeats of like boss battles that you've already done. So I was just like, you know what, I think I'm good. But yeah, Octopath Traveler, really, really dug it. It really does feel like the sort of spiritual successor to Bravely Default, which it's not done by the same team as Bravely Default, but from what I understand, some of the senior staff here also made Bravely Default, so things slip through the cracks and you do sort of see the similarities, and, you know, as a big Bravely Default fan, it was a joy to play through, it really was, you know. Hopefully we get a sequel to this one, you know, with like 8 new characters. That would be awesome. But yeah, number 2 is Octopath. And number 1, which isn't Super Smash Brothers, you can all probably guess this one. It's currently above my head right now, you know. Yakuza 6, Song of Life. Yeah, super predictable, I know, but it was Kazuma Kiryu's final game in the series, you know, which is weird because here in the West, Yakuza still shows no signs of slowing down. And yeah, it really was the story. It really was the story. If you are like me, you've been with this franchise since the PS2, and to see the conclusion that they actually gave Kazuma Kiryu, it was like unbelievable to me, okay? To all of you out there who are now discovering Yakuza, and have maybe you went right onto this game and missed out on like 3, 4, and 5, I urge you to wait for those like remasters to come out. Wait for Yakuza 3, 4, 5, go back and play Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, then play 3, 4, and 5, then play this. I know that's a lot to ask, but I honestly think it was worth it. It's one of the biggest reasons why this game is number 1, is because I had that build up and I had that just like amazing moment. And I know I keep talking about the story, but the gameplay is pretty awesome too, you know? A lot of people, I see like a few people complain about the new engine, you know? It was like this with Yakuza Kiwami 2 that just came out a few months ago there, you know? People were not satisfied with how the game played, saying that it feels more heavy, a bit more like sluggish, and to that I say, yeah, that is true, I would agree with that. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, I think it's just like different. But yeah, I still really like it, and of course the game has all the Yakuza staples of like so many amazing hilarious sub-stories you can do, hundreds of mini-games, including like a fully playable arcade version of Virtua Fighter 5, that was mental, Puyo Puyo, all of the Yu Suzuki staples, Outrun, Space Harrier, Afterburner. Yeah, there's so much to this game. There's so much to... I didn't even touch the clan creator. I don't like the clan creator. And again, they brought that back for Yakuza Kiwami 2. I don't like the clan creator. And there was even like a full mini-game in here about managing a baseball team, which was basically Football Manager, but with baseball. I didn't touch that either, and I still put like 60 odd hours into the game. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Yakuza 6, Song of Life, Game of the Year 2018 for definite. Until Smash Brothers comes out anyway. But whatever. That's that, guys. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.